Anyway, go ahead, Brad. I think I forgot to do the intro, but we're live.
Welcome to the Liberty Libations. We're live. Is this correct?
We're good now.
Everybody's popping there. Everything's weird in the world today, so it fits right in perfectly. I'm your host, Jake. Obviously not. I'm Brad Binkley. I am guest hosting. I told Jake, I said, yeah, I'll do it on one condition. We start 15 minutes late so that I feel like it's all of my shows. And I'll have a bunch of tech problems right before to throw us through the loop. And that's exactly what happened, and I appreciate you guys bearing with me on that. But I'm excited to be here because you guys are like the smartest guys that I know. And so you're always blowing my mind.
Exclusively retards?
Well, yeah, I mean, I am definitely the tard of this group. And you guys lift me up and you inform me, and so I'm excited to talk about all the wonderful things going on in the world. I know this wasn't technically on the lineup, but I'm really happy that Trump's doing TikToks with Nicki Minaj. I'm looking for that sex tape to drop. I know, Zane, you're thinking the same thing as me on that one there. But the story that they've been talking about the most is ICE getting a lot of press today as the White House has eased tone on the Placie killing. Trump did make a comment. He said he doesn't want any Americans to lose their lives. And unless you're living under a rock, you're familiar about the 2 U.S. citizens that have died up there in Minnesota that were shot during altercations with ICE. And that has just caused people to completely divide on the left and the right. And so there was a lot of criticism, not just from the left, actually, but from the right and from the libertarian communities. And so what the Republicans did is they shifted away from their kind of he was going to kill everybody in ICE tone, which was he was a mass murderer. That was apparent. That was kind of the original tone of it. And they've shifted quietly to moving Tom Human to take the lead in the response over there and getting sex doll Kristi Noem, reassigning her somewhere else. And some people are saying Trump is negotiating. I'm negotiating. Others are saying that he caved. What are y'all's thoughts on this chaos?
Zane, you start.
Yeah. Usually when Jake does that.
Zane, what are your thoughts on this chaos?
You've got to learn from Jake. When Jake does that, he tells one of us to go.
Right.
Because we're just so polite on this show.
I know. Yeah.
Don't call on one of us. We just sit here awkwardly. So yeah.
Zane, fire away.
All right. With that paperwork out of the way, I'm very happy to admit that I actually haven't watched the clips of any of the killings, so it's rather easy for people to have an opinion on the stuff that they haven't watched. So I will proceed to say, I think that it's pretty clear that, you know, when ICE is sending their agents to deal with these protesters, ICE is not sending their best. Like they're sending some, you know, not very good people, and some I assume are good people. But these are supposed to be like some of the top federal agents of the entire government in terms of like how well they're trained, the kind of people that they're going after. Like, we were promised that ICE was going to go after the worst of the worst, you know, the criminals, the gangbangers, the murderers, all of these people. And if that's who you're saying you're going to go after, like, I have to assume you're sending your best agents to handle that. And instead what we see is you're sending people that, when someone is cornered and starts driving away, or when someone's at some kind of is at a protest and has a gun. Again, I haven't seen the clip, so I'm not going to pass judgment on where the gun was pointing or how menacingly the gun was being brandished, but that's almost beside the point. Like, if you're saying that these people are qualified to do what you're telling us that they're going to do, and for the record, I want them to do. I want all of the criminals to get out. I like, and I even have a little bit of a hard time saying that ICE should be abolished for the reason that so many people that say ICE should be abolished, the point of that is kind of, let's not deport anyone. And actually, there are lots of people that I want to be deported very much. So I don't want to be misconstrued on that. But we're being told, oh, these agents are responsible for deporting these worst of the worst guys. And if they're having this much problem that they're like getting that, like they're killing U.S. citizens in, at best, legally very dubious ways, it just doesn't inspire a lot of confidence.
It doesn't when you see 8 or so guys, I don't know how many it was, tackling one guy. And I don't know what the situation was like in the moment, but it does raise the question of the qualifications of the people involved in these interactions. I believe one of them wasn't ICE agents. I don't recall the exact, it's associated, but I don't recall the exact name of their titles. But I know there was ads where they were, anybody can join ICE. Your mother, your sister, your brother, your baby, the homeless person. Maybe they get the homeless people to join. You deport somebody, you keep the house. I don't know. So it does raise the question of how well-trained are some of these people. And I want to hear, Zach, are you on the show or not? Are you in the background?
I'll be on until Steven gets here.
Okay, you're gonna fill in for Steven until we get him.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to you, Zach, until since you're only gonna be here briefly. What are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, I did think it was funny that all those advertisements for anyone can join ICE, like they led with the fact that you get a $10,000 bonus. Not like, are you a good law enforcement agent? Do you want a career in law enforcement? Like, do you want to help serve your country? It's like, no, do you need $10,000? So
the most desperate people it might get.
Yeah. So I don't think that they've, recruited the best of the best probably. And, I'm the same. It's like, I'm not at all sorry when I see them going after actual criminals or whatever, but it seems to have gotten beyond that for sure, where like, I don't believe everything I hear where someone's like, oh, they gassed a baby or whatever. Maybe some of that is happening. I don't think that's intentional. And if it's happening, that sucks. But then like, I don't know. There's a lot of activists speak on one side, and then there's a lot of, kind of goonage on the other side with like, well, that is hard to defend.
And that's the problem with it, is it's hard to defend, especially when you look at it. But also if you know the background of how they organize these rallies and protest, then you're familiar with, and this has come out through, they're calling it Signalgate or something the past few days, but this is something I've talked about on my show for many years, where they do these activist trainings that become the only source of information that these protesters get. And they get these newsletter emails. I can pull one up in a minute if you guys want to hear some of the language they use. And they tell them, and like 4 or 5 times a week, they keep in contact with them. They say, it's a dark day in America, and we know it seems like all hope is lost, and everybody's feeling desperate and scared and worried what's going to happen to their families. You can still save this democracy. And then it's like the action steps, and it includes language like put your body on the line. I remember the first time I heard that from Linda Sarsour like 8 years ago, and we see that happening now, and it's like upped the level of to training forces. And I mean, Second Amendment, I'm all for. How wise is it to go provoke someone when you are armed with it's not wise, but that's why it's challenging, because the nuance in the conversation is destroyed by the memification and the extreme takes that people have immediately. Alden, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the truth is, like a lot of things, like probably somewhere in the middle, and we have a problem with like media and social media. Like it really boils up to the top, like it's either like a hardcore like gooning propaganda on one side, or it's like the hardcore, opposite effect, and taking an example and really kind of making a case around outlier examples or whatever, not to defend any outlier action or whatever. But I don't necessarily want to like, while acknowledging that those things are happening, I don't necessarily want to like throw the baby with, out with the bathwater or whatever. You
got to gas it with the bathwater.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. you got to chloroform the baby and then yeah, that's what you do. But I definitely see problems with it as a program, and I'm curious what you're talking about with like the language or whatever, because it feels very like I don't know, like backyard militia propaganda, like culty speak. Like it doesn't feel very official. Like I feel like we don't need that in a recruitment process or whatever. The $10,000 even, I guess, fine, but like, do we want like a bunch of like, I don't know, desperate Alec Baldwin types or something out there that are just like trigger happy and like need 10 grand and like are the type of people that are really motivated by these types of words? Like, yeah, I do think there's probably problems with that. Go ahead.
I think what Brad was saying was the kind of emails that are going out to the communist agitators that are coming out to do the counter protesting, the protest against ICE. Right. And I think it's important to point out that these people that are being killed are not total randos. They are there trying to provoke something. Now, and I actually think that there are probably some people high up in those organizations that are coordinating all the protests that are actually not sad that two of their own people have been killed, because the administration is playing right into their hand. This is how communists have always agitated, which is that they do some very ill-advised protesting. They bait the state into overreacting against them, and then that turns public opinion against the state and in favor of the protesters. So this is why it's so important that, like, as someone that favors criminals being deported, we need to be the loudest to say, hey, ICE, this is not acceptable. Because if you keep doing this, then you will lose the public. Yeah. The public will fall right into the hands of the people that are crafting the communist propaganda and say any attempt to deport anyone automatically leads to innocent U.S. citizens being shot by ICE agents. So that's why we can't have any deportations. And so when Trump was elected, he was elected on I'll just say a pretty big mandate to seal the border, which to his credit he has done, and also to deport criminals. And he's really messing it up because the polls now are, and obviously you can't trust the polls because the polls are also propaganda. But according to the polls, Americans are not really happy about how all this is going. And it's going to be harder and harder to actually do anything meaningful if you continue engaging in stupid BS like this.
Yeah, and you're right, it's very difficult with everything so divided. And a woman named Jan Ciesielski, she was a senator, I believe, or a congresswoman from Illinois. I can't remember which, but a few years back at Netroots Nation, and there's a clip of this. I have it somewhere on another computer. I've played it before, where she's doing this training. This is a big training they have every year. And she tells the activist, she says, we need to see people on the steps of the Capitol in wheelchairs getting pulled out of their wheelchairs by police so that our photographers can snap those photos of that moment and then blast it to our friendly journalists at the New York Times and all the other places across the country so that we can control that narrative of oppression and abuse. And the whole underlying theme of the training is you must make sure conflict happens so that it can be used against those that do it. Now, that's not an excuse to do it. Like the training we talked about, you need to be like Superman in controlling your emotions and being able to, just not just fire away, because this is definitely happening. They're trying to provoke that. And if that doesn't happen, if you go to a protest and you don't cause some sort of conflict that is newsworthy, then you aren't going to get promoted on the indivisible social media. You aren't going to be praised by, it's a reward system they have set up. You're going to have failed as a protester. So the media attention by any means necessary to create an oppressive situation with them being the victim is literally the strategy of protest. And the organizers, they tell people to put their bodies on the lines, but they never actually go out there. And like you said, Zane, there's probably some of them who they aren't too upset when this happens because the fundraising dollars roll in. It makes it easier for them to organize and mobilize people and then do the same thing. And shows their ability to organize the most amount of people against their own best interest, which then often leads to them getting to run for office in the future. The Stacey Abrams, the Obamas, there's some on the right also. What I always tell people is we all have a right to protest, and people should protest, but just be aware of these things going on both sides of it so you can be as safe as possible, because the ones pulling the strings don't have the citizens' best interest in mind, and that's on both sides of it, I think. Zach? Thoughts?
What? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, the organizers never put their bodies on the line, and usually they have the most body to put on the line too.
Yes. Yes. Oh man, I wanted my rim shot ready for that. That was good. That's good. Alden, so what do you think? So from that side, the protest, right? It's such a hard thing to discuss, because.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by Stephen Drake.
Oh God! What's up, Stephen? Have you been listening? Do you know what we're talking about?
No, I'm just getting here. Sorry.
We're talking about ICE and the protesters, and the difficulty and the entire situation, because in my opinion, just manipulation going on both sides, not the best, maybe hiring or qualifications. It's just kind of a bubbling up, and it has the country divided. And I was just going to sorry. No, I know. Sorry. Somebody walked in my window and distracted me. Alden, for his thoughts.
I was going to bring up the concept too and see, Brad, what you think of this, or how prevalent you think the problem is of like the crisis actors and people that are like paid to be like picketers and protesters and stuff that like don't even have a horse in the race and don't even give a shit really, but are just there because they're like, I don't know, this person or this politician or this corporation or so-and-so hired me to be here to pretend like I care and make a scene. When you're talking about things like there's a level further even of like, we hope something bad happens or whatever, but what if we plant, people here and really stage something bad to happen?
I mean, I think that happens sometimes. That's one of the reasons I tell people to be wary when they go to any of these things is if it'd be in their best interest to. I care, and I don't go to things like this because, like, I'm just like not trying to be, I don't know, at a real friction point place where something's like just too likely to happen. I'm just not down with that. Right, and you don't want to get caught up in all that. And I think there's provocateurs probably, but I don't think everybody's paid. I think most people are lonely and they're looking for direction, really, in their life. Zane, go ahead.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and this is why I think the left is always the best, at least in recent memory, of having violent protesters, because the left, more than any other demographic, I think, finds meaning from their political involvement. So, like, if you emailed a group of right-wingers and were like, you've got to put your body on the line for this random cause celeb of the day, most of them would be like, what are you talking about? I have a family and a job. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's much more likely that, like, lefties, especially if they're really young, which a lot of these people are, where young people across the political spectrum are famously lonely, which makes it even easier for this to happen. They have nothing else going on in their life. They're craving to get meaning from somewhere, and then finally someone's like, you can be a hero for the cause. You might even be a martyr for the cause of progressivism, for the cause of helping these poor immigrants. And they're like, yeah, sign me up. So they all go. And actually, even if you compare like all the times that like lefty protesters get crazy with like January 6th, which is the one time that it got pretty crazy on the right. If you look at what actually happened with that, a lot of the people that were there and got in trouble thought that they were being let in and were like going in for a guided tour of the Capitol. Like even on the day that the right wing has been besmirched with, oh, you were about to overturn democracy through violence, the vast majority of even the people there were not doing anything.
Right. And so that's what happens with all of these things is the worst of any of these groups, the entire group gets branded by the worst of them. So most of them are probably good people and fine. Zach and I have met a number of them at some of these protests. And even though we disagree with some of the things that they believe and maybe agree with some of the others, they're mostly nice people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though one old lady did tell me she wished that if she had a weapon, she could beat Trump supporters with it. She's like 75-year-old woman. It's pretty funny. But I want to respond to a comment from Gravy here, who said, sincere question, Brad. We're not supposed to protest violent, militarized federal police bringing about a tyrannical state. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not telling people not to protest. I'm just giving people information about what some of these groups are doing and what some of the leaders of these groups are doing, who don't actually, in my opinion, care about the protest as much as they care about showing their political acumen by kind of being deceptive to people. I think people should protest. I'm just telling people to be aware is all.
Just be informed,
Yeah. So, Stephen, what do you think about all this? We hadn't heard from you yet.
Man, so my emotions on this just run the full gamut, right? So, my initial reaction is, half these protesters, can they even spell ICE? Do they know why they're there? Like that's just my knee jerk. Just like Zane said, like I've got a family, I've got a job, yes, but then, just like the comment said, okay, hey, if there really is government overreach, I don't know what's going on in Minnesota, right? I can turn on the news, I can go on social media, but unless I'm really there and I know someone that's been there or have family there or friends that live there that actually have long-time local experiences, I don't know, are innocent people really being shipped to El Salvador? I hear this, like that's the mantra. Like if that's going on, hell yeah, protest it, right? But like you're saying, there's definitely an organized movement, and the signal chats that just got leaked recently that they have government help, they have government orchestration, they have some degree of government training. They have access to the license plate readers. So they can pull the state license plates, and so they have help of police, local governments. So there's an orchestrated movement to usurp government power, and the way you do that first is in the public view. Right now the optics are terrible. Deportation is popular, immigration enforcement is popular. People want that, especially with all the fraud that's just been uncovered by the likes of Nick Shirley. But then the way they're doing it and the way that they're getting portrayed really sucks.
Yeah, it's that narrative battle, and that's the challenge, is this narrative is communicated in these silos, like the email chains that I was mentioning earlier. Another one is the X, the feed, the algorithm, Facebook. People are getting information that reinforces their confirmation bias on a lot of this stuff. And it's kind of their position is being fed to them instantaneously right after things happen in like the form of a meme that is certain and completely opposite and, no room for compromise on both sides of it, which that's like the point of the propaganda, is to make sure there's no nuanced discussion about any of this. So I had a question that came to mind about something what you said. It just slipped my mind. So I want to go back to you, Zane, on what should we do about this, or what do you, or what worries you the most about where this is going?
I'll tell you what doesn't really worry me, and it's all of these like people saying, "Oh, we're just inching closer and closer to civil war," which for years I've just thought is completely unconvincing and will not happen, at least anytime soon. So I'm not concerned about that. I guess I'm concerned about, in 2028, if when the Democrat gets in there, if that happens, then they'll just use this as an excuse to be like, well, this is why we need the borders to be even more open than they were under Biden. So it's all about, what can you get the general public to think about immigration and deportations? And if you spend all your political capital, killing U.S. citizens, as I said, in legally dubious circumstances, and I'm not even saying it's unequivocally that they murdered them because, as I said earlier, I haven't even seen the clips. But I think we can all agree legally dubious, and it's ICE agents in situations that they should not have even been in the first place. So if you spend all your political capital on that, then in 2028, it's all going to be gone. And we're not even going to have gotten rid of all the criminals that we could have if you had just quietly just done your job without all the fireworks.
Exactly. And that's what they need to be trained. They need to be doing like real-time training with active, like, the football they play against a scout team and stuff like that, like live action scrimmage. They need to be scrimmaging against, the lower level ICE agents. Although when they're hiring anybody, I don't know how low the level can get, but they need to be testing them and their patience and how they can control their emotions when confronted with agitators that will be agitating, because that's the only way they can win in this situation, is to not react. And then the argument will be, well, then something will happen to them. Something could happen to anybody at any time. The activists aren't, I mean, there's probably crazy people out there, but they don't want to be the ones who gets seen shooting somebody. They want to be the ones who get seen being victimized, not being shot, but victimized. And so you need like super measured, super emotionally, they can even keel somebody, do yoga, do something to get rid of that itchy trigger finger, and maybe pay them more and train them better, and not be like, hey, homeless people want to be ICE agents. I don't know. Like the left calls it executions in the Gestapo, and the right calls it, a mass murder attempt on the ICE agents. And it's just like, where do you go?
Self-defense, retaliation. There's certainly no effort for de-escalation of force, which should be paramount, for these kind of situations. And I was making a joke a couple of weeks ago that, they have like a $50,000 sign-up bonus because they need more ICE agents. That was Donald Trump's big push when he got in. And, the kind of guys that got in there, this is the joke I was making, was, back in the day when you play Mortal Kombat and you kick somebody's ass using just low kick, and they get up in rage and throw the Super Nintendo across the room. Those are the kind of guys that are ICE agents now.
Right.
Well, not to quote Lord Farquaad, but some of you may die, but that's the price I'm willing to pay. But it's, seriously, joking, of course. But what's the $50,000 signing bonus for, if not to attract the very best people to a job that has inherent dangers in it? Like, they don't call like the police in New York City New York's finest, quote unquote, for nothing. Like, when you become a police officer, the expectation is that you are like the best, most measured, most upstanding person, and that's why we can trust you to be a police officer. And even more so with ICE agents, and I know that they have the budget because, they
do the PR with a budget.
Several months ago, we, in the big beautiful bill, what was the appropriation to ICE? Like $2.5 billion to ICE. So it's like, if you need to pay them more to attract the very best people, then fine. I know you have the money. It's a tiny slice of the overall budget, just fine, do it. But then if you're gonna pay people that much, then you can't be like, oh well, we couldn't figure out how to not shoot someone that was driving a car at us. Maybe
de-escalation is key, and that was
right.
I come from a military family. My brother's a Marine, my dad's a Marine, a bunch of friends are Marines. They talk about time spent in Okinawa, and this goes all the way from Vietnam era to just 5 years ago. And, over there, if there's a ruckus in town and, some kind of a riot or something breaks out and there's a bunch of people around, there's an old cop, there's an old guy, and then there's a young guy. The young guy's got a pistol on his hip and the old guy has a kendo stick. And they say, they blow a whistle. The old guy points his kendo stick at you and points at the ground. Innocent or guilty, your ass gets on the ground. And if the old guy gets a hold of you, you're going to wish the young guy shot you, basically. But it's all de-escalation, and that's the way that they handle things. No one really rises up over there, except for Shinzo Abe got shot in the chest somehow. But that's hey, something happened, everybody get on the ground, or I'm kicking everyone's ass. That's one way to handle things. That's not how we do things over here. We have due process and all this gray area that Obama was talking about. That's why he was. That was the fear, when he was in, and all of this stuff. Like this just came back to me in the shower this morning too. It was Obama's speech. I want a citizen army. Just as strong, just as well trained, just as well funded. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Citizen army.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Is this it? This anti-ICE movement? I don't know.
Yeah. So how many people, do we know how many people Trump has deported? I know through the first portion of the year, he had deported less than Obama on average through the first few months of his administration. It might be more now, it probably is, but I don't know the updated numbers. I just know early on, it was a PR effort to showcase it, to make it seem more than it was, even though it was less. And there just wasn't attention called to it before, so that's why we didn't see all the new stuff. Does anybody know what the numbers?
Well,
are?
I can definitely tell you that Instagram was covered in them cutting hype videos of everyone that they were deporting, so that was great. But in terms of the actual numbers, they may have gone up a little bit, as you've said, but I think to start out with, they were not exactly very much.
Yeah, and Biden didn't call attention to it, and Trump did, because that's what he ran on. And so that's what's interesting is there were not protests then. In my opinion, there weren't protests then because it wasn't. You're not going to protest a subject you can't call attention to. It's in the news, and both sides want attention to it. Gravy had a question here, and we'll see what everybody thinks. Here's a question: if you see a band of masked, armed, and supposed masked, armed, and armored supposed federal agents in Atlanta or in your town, will you cheer or will you oppose? Well, these two that got shot, I think they went to it. I don't know for sure. I don't think they just ended up where they were, but I do understand your point. I would try and figure out what's going on first. I wouldn't make a knee-jerk decision about anything, and everybody feels like they have to have a take and decide something right away. And that's what gets people fighting and hardening their positions before full context and the details of what happened. I'm very pro finding out the context as much as possible. So I would try and see what's going on. I wouldn't walk out there. I would call people. I'd get online. I would want to know why they're there, what called them there, who they were coming after, and then based on that information, I'm not going to cheer anybody. That's like the left and right sport politics. I don't do that shit. So that's what they want people to do. That's the memification of it, and it's a lot more nuanced. What do you guys think? Steve, we'll start with you.
Well, I definitely think that it's not a good move to get involved either way. Like in the heat of the moment, while it's happening, you don't want to. Again, right or wrong, there is a process for all of this.
You just muted yourself.
It's a deep state. Alden, we'll go to you while Steve figures it back out.
Someone said something about like sports, and it just made me think too that like are sports even something that's like in the culture here that's like kind of, whether intentional or not, but like maybe training us to see things in like this like red and blue, like two sides kind of a thing. And I've really fallen off with sports at this point in my life. And I think I don't know if I liked what it was like doing to my brain, where I was like, oh, fuck that guy. He's wearing a green shirt. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up. I've seen too many fights break out in bars over someone wearing a hat that they don't like or that their team lost that day. And I'm like, it's bullshit. And if that same fucking person were wearing a red fucking hat or whatever, then you join him in fighting someone else, I guess. I don't know. But it's that like two sides, like the, like opposed, like if you're not with me, you're against me kind of a thing that I think we have in sports and in politics and in media and just like everywhere in this country. And you asked earlier, like, what do we, think is like the scariest part of all this? And I'm like, I think it's just a general sort of a cultural problem that I'm worried about, and just like a psychological and cultural problem that we live in like algorithmic bubble land that's getting more and more extreme, and we're extreme in our fucking entertainment and our pastimes are becoming extreme. And we were talking about before, like, who's deported more people. I think it's an interesting question, but also there's a question of like, why is it that this wasn't like top of mind. People weren't asking this question about whether it was like Biden or Obama or whatever, and like, is that because they themselves aren't like trying to take credit for it, or is it because like the media isn't making as big of a fuss about it? It's like the different legs of the table of like the cultural and like, you have the political and the media are like two like big components. And I worry sometimes that just like really fires people up quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Agenda setting theory is applies to social media now too, where the media has the power to determine what topics you think about and care about, what frame you receive that information through, and what the primacy of what position you take for the moral high ground on either side of it. And it is a very powerful thing. And you can see it all the time, especially like when you see mass shootings and stuff. There's mass shootings happen by definition all the time, at many of them at schools, but we only hear about them on certain occasion.
Yep.
And yeah, so we'll go back to you, Stephen, and then we'll get your final thoughts, Zane. Then we'll move on to the next topic.
Yeah. So, don't interfere with an arrest as it's happening. It's one of those, there is a process, there is a channel to go through, but, the officers are taught to escalate in order to maintain control over a situation. So, if you go get in their face, if you're yelling at them, if you're throwing things at them, they're going to respond in kind and at least one level higher than what you give them, because that's just what they're trained to do. Now, should they actually be de-escalating? Yeah. There was a day and time that they used to do that. But just some quick bullet points too. Should ICE exist? Probably not. This is all the wake of the Bush era 9/11 knee-jerk response stuff that, it shouldn't really be an issue, but if you dismantle the social safety net, then immigration is a non-issue. It's a non-starter. The big problem is we have people coming over here and they're running up our tax bills, using our healthcare, having anchor babies, getting the Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, rental assistance, utility assistance, all this kind of stuff. And somebody, this was like a 15-year-old stat that Neil Bortz threw out before he retired, but somebody getting all of the available welfare to somebody, all the government assistance, they have more disposable income than someone making $65,000 a year. And that was like 15 years ago. So that's an impressive stat. So yeah, dismantle the safety net, then immigration shouldn't be an issue. This whole, where are your papers? Where's your card? The perfect libertarian society, that would not be an issue. It would be an open revolving door because there is no safety net. So you're not, by coming here, you're not taking anything from the people that are already here, and then also just ask yourself, Wes, stop. And then also just ask yourself, who benefits from the temperature of the situation going all the way up to the boiling point? Right now, it's the commies, So yeah, allowing an emotional reaction to everything you see, jumping to a conclusion, latching onto it, making that your cause immediately without reviewing the facts and trying to learn more and asking questions. Look at who's benefiting from that. Do you want the armored Fed tanks, or do you want the Antifa guys in a dress? It's one. There's got to be something in the middle. Why is it two extremes are my only option?
And the extremes benefit, news outlets or a reporter or whatever. Like if you get like an extreme story, we were talking about this maybe before you were on, Stephen, but unfortunately it benefits, those more if something is really dramatic or really extreme, and that can fuel the fire from that side as well, just to kind of splice what we were saying. But.
Yeah. And whoever gets elected next, who might be an organizer right now, they're going to be deporting people too. If it's a Democrat, they're just not going to be calling attention to it.
Right.
So the disingenuousness of some of the people that are behind this, the on the ground stuff, it's all awful. I mean, it's awful. It's great for people in power on both sides who benefit politically from it, and both sides do benefit politically from all of this. And not falling into that divide and conquer trap and immediately jumping on your neighbor, your friend, or on social media and giving them the reaction they want to. It's Ciesielski. The action is in the reaction, and that applies to the public as well. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't stand up for things or call attention to things. It means, in my opinion, we should just be aware of the provocation tactics going on all sides of it, and we should be more measured and better than them, because doing that is what undermines all their power. They wouldn't try so hard to emotionally trigger and provoke everybody if not doing so accomplish the same thing. They need the country to react this way, to continue doing these things on both sides of this. And our power lies in not falling in to that trap. Yes, make your voice heard, but recognize the traps that are being laid. Zane, we'll go to you for the final comment here. And there's a question. Zane, is there authority for ICE to exist? Go ahead.
Man, great. Be honest, I was about to. I just had crafted the perfect response to your last question, and now you're tossing out this question. But I think my answer is the same. If armored federal police came rolling down my street, that would definitely make me highly suspicious. But if it just so happened that they were there to do something that I would think is legitimate in a libertarian framework, then I'm not going to be automatically opposed to them, because in that case they actually are. We live in a society where not any random person has the legal authority to enforce laws as we would understand them as libertarians. Only the state can do that. So if it just so happens that the state in a particular case is doing that, then I think it's better than if they gave themselves the power to do it and then didn't do it. And I think in the very limited case of catching and deporting criminals, I think that that's something that they should be doing. But I also think that it's something that they can do without making a big song and dance out of it. So the fact that there are even enough publicly identified ICE agents around for protesters to be finding out where they are and then have a big protest and then provoke them into killing one of them, that's kind of a sign that their priorities are out of order. If you're really just focused on deporting the worst of the worst, then, and I'm not going to pass judgment on whether ICE should exist or whether some other agency of the government could also do it, because I know that ICE is a very new creation. It came out of the 9/11 bunch of BS. So abolish it for all I care. I just hesitate to say it because a lot of the people that do say it essentially say, no, we should not deport anyone, which is not something that.
Well, so yeah,
really
what's the?
But just to put a neat bow on it, I think that you could, the function of deporting very bad people, I think should be done, but could be done in a way that doesn't require people being freaked out by heavily armored agents. And also, Steven's completely right. Once those people are gone, the best way of getting everyone else to leave is to just turn the benefit spigot off. Because if you do that, then they'll all leave on their own. We don't have to worry about, oh, we're sending in the agents to tear families apart, blah, blah, blah. Just turn off the benefits. 90% of them will go home. The other 10%, they can stay. I don't care.
So this brings up to circle back to the question of should federal police exist and should ICE exist or whatever. So what if on a state level, a state like New York or whatever, is hey, here, have our money, take our money. We give us all you're hungry and you're sick and whatever, and we'll give you $10 million to live in a hotel for 20 years, whatever. And you can eat lobster and whatever. And then, but on a federal level, then you have a program like this that's trying to deport people or whatever based on this. So it's tricky when we have this, we like the state laws kind of a thing, but then it's vastly different. But this, you see what I'm saying? The federal laws to the state.
It's very tricky because the libertarian rule of thumb is that the more decentralized the power is, the better it is. So I would much rather New York do that than the entire United States do that.
Right.
But I'm still definitely not in favor of New York doing it. And New York is still a political unit of tens of millions of people. Mm-hmm. So this is an instantiation of a much broader issue, which is that is it okay for a larger political unit to enforce liberty, so to speak, on smaller political units? And I think this has come up in context of like, is it okay for a state to tell counties that they can't have like gun control or can't have more stringent building codes? Because or I think like there are some states where it's state law that counties cannot ban people from owning chickens on their own property.
Mm-hmm.
That's a federal farm bill. That's a USDA thing.
So it's like, on one hand, it's in a purely libertarian framework, everyone could own chickens on their own land, regardless of where they live. But then on the other hand, it's the central state saying, no, the subsidiary political units are not allowed to be decentralized. You have to let them. So it's an interesting thing to think through. And ultimately, I think libertarians don't need to take a principled stand on it. I think in those cases, it's okay to be like, well, whatever will practically achieve the most liberty for people is what we should go with.
Do you feel like the libertarians are being represented from that point of view? I see a lot of people, for some reason, going after libertarians around this issue in particular on X. Like, why do you think that is?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I deleted my X account a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I just, it's
Well,
like
this has been
the
polarizing topic for the libertarian part. This and abortion are like the top two things that will split the party. Absolutely. So and you oust these folks, and it's been the two factions. What is it? The classical liberals or the Mises caucus. Like they're on opposite sides. They joke and call each other bordertarians and this, that, and the other. And like I said, if there is no social safety net to run up people's tax bills, people coming here, then having an open revolving door is not an issue. Mm-hmm. But to say that probably makes me one of those bordertarians that, but that's what defines a nation. Without a border, language, and culture, you have no nation.
Right.
I mean, those things are essential. I mean, that's, what is your nation if you can't define it by a boundary? I don't know.
And you guys have that divide.
I'm actually much more protective over who gets to become a citizen than who gets work authorization. I mean, hand out the work authorizations. I'm not overly concerned about that.
And again, if we weren't taxing income, working here is not an issue either. You want to come here, however you came here, doesn't matter. You come here and consume things. You pay taxes at the point of sale. Boom. None of this is a political football at that point.
Right. And then you just bring that in and you get to think about how our taxpayer dollars are paying for much of the chaos we see on television right now. It's like the public is paying for their own like agitprop and many of the things they stand for being violated. Okay, so Grumpy says sounds statist is what he says there. Let's move on to the story. I don't know if this is the gnome story that Zach was talking about, but there was the court in Minnesota. A judge, he criticized immigration, ICE for their defying orders during what's going on up there. And he threatened to hold ICE acting director Todd Lyons in contempt and ordered him to appear in court, but canceled that demand after a specific detainee at the center of the case was released. Is this the story you guys are talking about? I feel like this is the wrong story.
I have no idea.
I'm getting confused on the stories that I got here.
I also don't have.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong ones. I think we're talking about the ICE policy when it comes to the judge's warrant.
That's what I know.
That's what I meant to go to there. So there's an internal memo from ICE that revealed a policy that asserts that agents can forcibly enter homes using only an administrative warrant, which that doesn't require a judge's signature. We'll start with you, Stephen. What do you think about this administrative warrant? Don't need a judge's signature to come in the house.
So that's again, we were just talking about that too. Jurisdiction. Who has jurisdiction? Can the federal government come in and tell a county how their due process is supposed to go? And for certain things like this. So I think the central theme that we're dealing with here is that we have municipalities, we have cities, we have counties, and even states, for that matter, that are thumbing their nose at federal immigration law. They're playing it to their benefit. That they're trying to pick and choose which laws they need to follow. And I think ultimately some things need some pushback. I'd really prefer states to just go, you know what, we're not going to collect federal income taxes. That would be the most popular hill to die on, I would think. But I think that's how you arrive at this. Again, a government created problem, and here we are, Hegelian dialectic. The government answer is more government. Less individual rights, less due process, more government. Here it is.
Doesn't it feel like it gets bigger even when the conservatives run on smaller government when they campaign?
Well, it gets so when conservatives run thing, the government gets bigger here. Like it like the law enforcement gets bigger. But when the Democrats get in, they want more of your money and they want to tell you what to do with your private property
and your sex organs.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
But we have this pendulum swing where we keep spending money for this reason, then spending money for that reason, then spending money for this reason, then spending. So it's just never stops, and we have
both sides want to. Spend money, take the rights. Spend money, take the rights. Grow the government. Like that's. Yeah. And if you
or
look
get
at
you
it,
to vote your own rights away if you get fired up enough about a topic, which is interesting.
Well, absolutely. Well, but so look at it like this. So core principles on each side of the spectrum here. So conservatives get in there. Who do conservatives prefer to have in charge? Right? It's going to be an established CEO, a businessman, or somebody you would want for your airplane captain. Right.
I was going to make this basically the same thing. I was going to say someone from the private sector, someone who had history in the private sector,
somebody that's going to get in there and they're going to run the government like a business. So what is the core theme? What is the core mission for a business? To make a profit and grow. Right. I mean, that's you get a businessman in there. They're going to run the government. They're going to balance the budget, but the budget's also going to grow because there's going to be more money and there's going to be more stuff to do. And then then the other side is who do you want to be the dean of a college, basically? Who's going to
I'll be a pedophile.
Definitely a pedophile.
There you go. But you just think about that for a second, though. Is who is their ideal candidate, and then not only that, but what is how are they going to run things? Because the guy that's going to treat it like a business, I want that guy in the budget committee. But I don't know that I want him having executive authority because that's how you wind up with this. I don't need a warrant. I'm just coming in stuff. And that's the perfect setup because we saw this in was it Baltimore? It was in Maryland. When the cops did a no-knock warrant and they kicked in the door of a veteran and the dude took out 2 or 3 of them before they got him.
Well,
and that was it sparked a gun rights debate. I don't know how that sparked a gun rights debate. You kicked in a veteran's door while he's playing video games. His neighbor in the apartment downstairs said he's yelling cuss words at the TV. He's an angry. I know he's a veteran with PTSD, and I know he's got guns. And so then the cops come in with a no-knock warrant, and they get blasted. I mean, that's 1 + 1 = 2. And so all these things. It's like I said, they're setting things up. No matter how you play it, the government's getting more power. It's Sun Tzu, right?
Mm-hmm.
The individual rights people are having to fight a battle on multiple fronts. But the only way we win this battle is by not fighting.
Right. Yeah. And that's unfortunately with warrants, they can almost always find a reason for a warrant. That is the unfortunate power they have. Mm-hmm. When you go through the case law, they can, sprinkle a little crack, as Chappelle would say afterwards. To justify it. I'm not saying they all do that, but it is unfortunate. What do you think, Alden, about the administrative warrant ability to bust in?
I mean, I hear you that it's all too easy to just get workarounds and be I don't know, I thought I heard something and whatever, and just some bullshit, whether it's find the right judge or probable cause or workarounds or whatever. But I don't think we should be making it any easier. I was, I don't know, a couple months ago or whatever, talking about a case a friend of mine had where ICE ended up detaining someone that was a citizen and, and wrongfully, they're already bad enough as it is. And do we want this where it's they can kick in your door and just be we thought that someone was on your property, so we just kicked in your door. I think this is just a no for me. This is a step way too far and like going to lead to more problems than good. I don't.
So you don't agree with their argument that they've already had due process, which is the argument.
I wouldn't say that this is a reasonable extension of, you know, their efforts or process or whatever at this point. And
right.
Whatever their argument is before, I'm not on the side of it.
Zane, what do you think? Have they already received due process? Is this justified?
So I think that there's nowhere like in like natural law, I suppose, that dictates that the due process that you get for every single thing that you might ever be investigated for has to be exactly the same. And I do kind of understand that, you know, if you're like on trial for murder, maybe the due process for that needs to be a lot more extensive than the due process for like a parking ticket. But it is very strange to see these executive agencies essentially try to define the Constitution out of existence just by making up their own new categories. Yeah. It's like, well, we don't need a warrant because this is just an administrative action. But the Constitution doesn't say anything about administrative actions. You just made that up. You literally just made that up. That doesn't count.
And I don't want to start a slippery slope on any of the amendments or Bill of Rights or whatever. Like,
yeah. Well, and so like even if you said that like only U.S. citizens are entitled to like full due process, which I'm not going to get into that because I've heard arguments on both sides and it's a topic for another time. But even if you were to say that, the weird thing about this particular case where they can just come into your house without a warrant is how do you know whose house it is or who's in there without getting the full warrant for it? If you haven't gone through the right due process, then how do you even know that a U.S. citizen isn't in there and that they're not entitled to the amount of due process that U.S. citizens have under the Constitution? So it's like, and this is a common misconception about the point of due process, which is that the point of due process is to figure out if they have the right guy. Like, if we already knew you were the right guy, then yeah, we wouldn't need any due process. We could just kick you out. But the point of the due process is to make sure that you're the right person to kick out.
Yeah. It's like the foundation of the justice system in this country, due process is, and everything's flipped on its head with like trial by media. And it's feels like another one of what Trump does so well, which is rebrand things to fit what he wants to do, you know, as though it was already that way. And people I know that are conservatives, that if this were the other way around, they would completely oppose it.
That's the thing is
just saying they don't even need it. They're repeating the little meme they got about it over and over again. And I'm just like, why are you yelling at me about this? You would be opposite. It's the same with, so whatever your thought, don't want to go off on Venezuela or anything, but a friend of mine got upset with me simply because I said, oh, no, Biden also wanted to do that. You could have voted for him. I was just joking with him. He like started yelled at me. And I was like, he started going, oh, new congressional approval. He started like doing that. Like, and so I said that, and I was like, I didn't say that. You're reacting to what you expect somebody who disagrees with you to say because that's what you've been reading on social media all day. But if this were the other way around, it would be you saying, ooh, congressional approval. Yeah. It's just that Trump has justified it with this rebranding thing because he knows that there's a number of people that just love everything that he does.
But then you guys, shoot a case of Bud Light with a shotgun and make up, right?
Right. All right. Everybody puts on their Nike tracksuits.
This is like one of my bigger pet peeves is when someone is like opposed to something, but not for the right reasons, or like it's like the principle underneath it is like really fucked, but like because it serves you today, you're okay with it, or you got fired up enough about something, and you're like, they need to be gone, and you're like, but you're willing to like damage your own rights to get to this end result that if you extrapolate this out a few more years, like could be really bad for you, or
they're not thinking that far in the future. Trump gives them the necessary justification with the rebrand that satisfies they want to go. The confirmation bias says go with Trump, avoid the cognitive dissonance. And so Trump gives them a little bit of rebranding that makes them believe that they still believe in this congressional approval in this example, but Trump just explained to them how this doesn't apply in this case. It's good. I mean, he's very good at that. He's a good branding expert.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, so what do you guys think of this? I don't have it pulled up. I have it on my phone here. It is what Trump truthed out. It is funny that he made his things truths, so the media has to say truth whenever he says something. It's another stroke of genius with branding.
Yeah, which by the way, Pravda, that was Stalin's newspaper, wasn't it?
What does that mean?
It means truth. Actually,
Oh, does it? That's funny. All right, so Trump truthed. He said he had a gun. This is all caps, obviously. He had a gun. Only criminals carry guns on our streets. We need a law and order. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Zane, what are your thoughts on that statement from the president?
Only criminals carry guns on our... I mean, I can't... if I tried to craft a message that would be more out of touch with his base,
that was a fake one, though, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, I thought that one was fake. Like someone spoofed that one.
Maybe. I don't know. That's why.
See, this is why I'm not on.
I mean, I saw that one circulating in a lot of libertarian circles. A lot of the classical libertarians were circulating that one, and I was like, someone made that one.
Let's see if that's true or not. That's a great question. Did you guys talk about, because there have been Second Amendment comments. Kash Patel made some Second Amendment comments as well that seemed a little bit out of touch. It falls in that same line.
Well, that's why it's so believable, because we know Trump is super weak on the Second Amendment. With the bump stocks and the suppressors, all those things. So it's just, he never misses an opportunity to gain political capital by trampling the Second Amendment.
It is fake. You're correct. It says a screenshot of Trump saying only criminals carry guns. It says fake. Okay. And the fake screenshot shared on social media shows Trump saying what I just read. The White House confirmed he didn't say that, but then the question says, has he commented on it? And then the quote that USA Today puts is, "This is the gunman's gun," and there's a picture of the gun. We posted a photo of the gun with 2 additional full magazines, ! And the guns are ready to go, says Trump. What's that all about? Where are the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and governor called them off, a question mark. Is it stated that many of these police were not allowed to do their job? If ICE had to protect themselves, not an easy thing to do. Why does Ilhan Omar have $34 million? He just transitions into that. So it's like a really long, drawn out thing. So it's not that. Kash Patel said something that didn't sound good. But that's interesting, though. Somebody put that screenshot out there, and I'm glad you noticed that, because there's a lot of stuff like that gets through. There's the AI image that was altered, not only of the shooter, but also of the shooting. And this stuff is prevalent all over social media, and there's a lot of people that are going to believe that's true because they're not going to hear your correction just now.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the other element to all this stuff, too, is now we have AI ramping up, the fake news. But that's there's a lot of AI generated stuff out there now that's agitating both sides to go further extreme on where they are. And that's, again, take a step back and do more than just read one tweet or a meme before you form your opinion.
Right. Absolutely. There is a question from Grumpy, not to go too off topic here, but it is an important question. Zane, this is for you. What blackmail do they have on Nicki Minaj?
Clearly feet pics.
Yeah, dude. What size do you think she has?
Wasn't she an actress before her rap career took off anyways?
Was she?
Yeah. Well, actress.
I mean, I saw the photo of her.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the TikTok of the two of them? She was like, "I'm with the greatest president ever in the world," and then it swings over to Trump, and he's like, "I'm with the greatest rapper ever in the world." And then who knows what happened after
this
the fireworks.
also sounds like AI.
Yeah.
You're right.
That one was tweeted by the White House. So
it's probably AI. Yeah.
Well, see,
Donald-
and that alliance was made because she came out in favor of the Nigerian Christians that are being massacred.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, her base was like, well, you can't agree with President Trump on anything. And she's like, they're killing Christians over there. That's bad, objectively.
Is she from there?
I don't know if she is. No, I thought she from Trinidad or something?
I don't
No,
know.
that's
I don't
Rihanna.
know. Yeah. I get them confused, and they're in a war with each other too. So it's
Right.
confusing. That's the real civil war.
Yeah,
we need
she's
to
from
worry about.
Trinidad and Tobago. She's a toboggan.
She's a toboggan. Yeah, Trump's gonna wear her ass on his head. I think that.
She'll call him Trinidaddy.
Is Kristi Noem going to get? I mean, Trump said she's not going to get fired. What's going on with him moving her towards another position? Alden, is it just show? Is it to just take the heat off of her, or
I'm
has she
sorry, I
been-
missed your question. I was laughing.
why did Kristi Noem get moved to another? Some people are thinking she's going to get fired.
Oh,
I-
dude,
yeah.
I don't know about this at all. This was the one that, I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person about.
All right,
any of
Steven,
that.
do you guys have an opinion on that? I personally don't think she's going to get fired. I think he's taking the heat off of her.
It's going to take the heat off of her. We're going to look for a win. There's going to be, probably some kind of a false flag. She might, create a diversion somewhere else and then actually be the solution to the problem. Just watch for
Bring
her
her
to be
back
the-
in. You're saying?
Yeah, watch for her to be the hero on something soon, something like that.
Right.
I say we take Bovino and Tim Waltz and put them in a cage match and just figure out what we're going to do with all these immigrants in Minnesota.
And then you stream it. You get Rogan to announce it. You get Buffer to, and then you have crypto. You just advertise the hell out of
Right.
everything.
Right. And all the profits open fake daycares.
Right. You do it on the White House lawn too to fund the whole entire thing.
Oh, that's coming up for the 250. You ready for it?
That's going to be interesting. It's definitely bread and circuses. When it,
That's
I mean,
right.
it's just crazy how, you hear them talk about, not to go off track, but you hear them talk about CTE in the NFL, and yet you watch these people just pummel each other's face. They all have flat faces and cauliflower ears, and they look a little off on the inside because they've been, literally just punched it. They train by having people just punch them in the face. It's the craziest thing, and nobody brings up CTE there.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? Maybe I should quit football and go get my face bashed in for Dana White. It's an entertaining sport, but man, it just it's the epitome of
And how is their
Coliseum.
opinion valid? Like Sean Strickland, he's
Yeah.
super conservative for a while.
he's like, fuck the faggots. Yeah, it's like every guy was Rogan's like, you just had a great time. You just beat the shit out of this guy. What a move. How do you feel right now? He goes, I just want to thank God and fuck the gay faggots. It's just like the guy screamed the other day last weekend after they never answer Rogan's question. They just shout. They're like, if I win, I'm going to say this crazy shit. And he goes, Rogan's like, so what were you doing with that move at the end where you put him down? He goes, Brittany Griner's a man. And I'm just like, that's like a 10-year-old. We've known that for 10 years, dude. You need to get updated with your conspiracy knowledge here. I don't know. So,
Well, hey, just a throwback real quick though, because this brought that to my attention. Zane, you mentioned about the the decentralization of the government being our strong point over here in the U.S. Andrew Tate recently came back over to the States and he did a little podcast tour. I think he was on PBD, and one of the things that he was talking about as to the UAE was the one country above all that welcomed him with open arms, and he was saying that they're a monarchy, right? So it's like the royal family over there or whatever. The guy was even telling him, he was like, the United States it's too decentralized. You'll always be an enemy over there. You're not ever going to receive justice. It's too decentralized. And that was the point he was making, and his whole big thing of that's what's wrong with our society. The president could call him a hero, but then the governor wouldn't like him, and he'd still go to jail for some trumped up charges, pun intended. He's it's too decentralized. I'm like, well, yeah, then you stay over there, then, dude, because that's that's what makes us great.
Andrew
Right.
Tate is a bad guy.
I don't know much about Andrew Tate. I apparently don't know much about anybody.
yeah,
I was like, you guys are the smartest people I know. And I'm like, I think I'm here as the average man, honestly, to just sort of balance things out and just.
I just first heard about him a year ago, and they're all just such grifters to me. And everybody says true things sometimes, and things that are wrong sometimes. But
broken clock, right?
it's just it's exhausting the level of grift that is incentivized.
I mean, all his videos I see are like it's just like him in a Ferrari smoking a cigar, talking
He's
about join,
yeah.
unplug, join the real society, be my business partner. And
Why would you
Yeah.
smoke a cigar in your
He's
Ferrari?
like,
That's
you want to get a Ferrari or some Bitcoin? You can't sit in the back of Bitcoin and get your dick sucked. It's like stuff like that. I mean, which is a valid point, I guess. What do you guys think of Kanye's his apology letter? Which I haven't read the whole thing.
What's he apologizing for?
He's apologizing for his I don't know that he used the word anti-Semitic. See if I can pull it up here. But he apologized because I thought it was funny, and I actually kind of expected this to happen when he released Heil Hitler, the song. That was his rap song. And I remember when that came out, I was talking about it on the show. I was like, here's what's going to happen. Kanye can get away with releasing that song because he's a black guy, even though he does get backlash from some. He's still very wealthy, and he goes on these crazy just tirades randomly. It'd be like in the middle of the night one night, and he'll just
like
say
manic,
like wild stuff. It's very entertaining, but also it's like obviously it's going to stir things up. So he's apologized for his comments about the Jews, and now you have all these white guys who saw Kanye say Heil Hitler and make that song they're like, yeah, we can say Heil Hitler now. And I remember thinking I would hold back on that because he's going to back off on that. And then it's just going to be a bunch of white guys saying Heil Hitler.
which is maybe even a worse look. Yeah.
Right. It all seems like a trap to me, but it is apology to the UE community. Is that the right one? No, this is the wrong.
I'll never forget when he went on Alex Jones with Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, dude.
And he had a mask on and a fishnet, and he kept talking about Netanyahu, and he was holding up this fishnet.
It's crazy. Have you not seen that? It was
dude.
so funny.
I was like, put this man back on lithium right now.
He is
acclaimed prop comic Kanye West.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So look,
God.
let's do trivia, and then we'll look a little more detail at his apology and see if we can get to the bottom of it. So the trivia, you guys do, I'm familiar with it because I always finish in last, and Zane usually finishes in first from my experiences. But let's see if we can break the pattern here and change things up. I don't have any trivia questions. Do you guys have any trivia questions, Zach, prepared? Was I supposed to?
Nice time.
Well, see, Brad, I just won so often that I got tired of winning, and then they put me in charge of trivia.
Oh, damn. So you're like that guy on Jeopardy. Ken Jenner? Was that his name?
I'm the Ken Jennings of libations.
Yeah. As opposed to Ken Jenner, which is, I don't know, probably some transsexual in the Jenner family.
Anyway, welcome to another week of libations trivia. We're glad to have you. As usual, we have trivia in 3 rounds. Round 1 is 8 questions, 1 point each. Round 2 is 6 questions, 2 points each. And round 3 is 4 questions, 3 points each. If you are in the audience, please leave a comment with your answer, and I will take the first comment that's not obviously a joke as the audience answer. Our contestants here will write down their answer on a piece of paper and then show it when the time is up. If you don't have a piece of paper to hand, you can just say it and we'll trust you.
You should just write it right on your forehead so we can see it.
For tonight's categories, we have round 1, rhymes with ice, round 2, losers, and round 3, Groundhog Day.
Nice.
You want to know what's funny about round 1? I had the idea for the rhymes with ice category, not even to do with anything about immigration,
Just the winter.
just about the ice storm.
Yeah.
I'm like, haha,
Yeah.
this would be funny and topical. And then I was like, oh wait, this actually works on 2 levels.
Wow.
I thought that ICE should have made a commercial around that for the ICE. Maybe you can show the victims to getting shot, like really go hard in on that. Ice storm, back off, deport, self-deport.
A double ice tundra. The worst joke I've made in a while.
Yeah, no, me too.
This is me when I'm not drinking. This is the version of me you get. I'm sorry.
This
They
is your
do that
brain
stuff
on
though. They
not
make weird ads
alcohol.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
All right, round 1 rhymes with ice. Question 1. Items used in games such as Farkle, Balut, and Chuck-a-Luck.
What?
Okay,
The hell
so
are these games?
since I have no idea what that is, I'm gonna go get my pen right now.
Yeah.
Farkle.
I have a guess,
I
but
think
I don't know what these games are.
I think the audience is on a bit of a delay, so I will be a little generous on the
They
timing
usually
there.
are to some degree.
Okay, items used in games such as. All right.
Jake's usually the one telling me when time is up, so I'll have to do that to
Can't
myself
see that
tonight.
here.
All right, Brad, what you got?
Is that
Mice.
All right, Alden,
I'm hoping it's dice.
Steven.
Dice.
Audience also has it. These are all dice
Okay.
games.
I have no idea what the games are. But I didn't assume mice.
Question
They
2.
don't roll mice. Sorry.
First name of quarterback who in 2025 led his team to its first division championship since 2015, a year after being benched in favor of Andy Dalton. All right, Brad. Brad says Rice. Alden says
Bryce.
Steven.
Bryce.
It is Bryce Young.
It should be. I would have named that kid Rice Young.
Audience also says Rice. So you're not alone, Brad.
Thank you, some quack.
It's actually B Rice. That's his street name.
Yeah.
Question 3. For a right-handed golfer, a shot that curves sharply to the right, often due to an open club face.
Sounds like an insult. Like, look at you, open club face.
What would it be a slur for, though?
Gout.
Brad,
Slice.
Alden.
Slice.
Slice.
Audience says Sprite,
Sprite.
Right?
I think that's yeah.
but it is a slice.
Can't believe you sprited that ball and lost the U.S.
Is
Open.
that like a autocorrect or something?
Might be. That's how Candace Owens says it.
Question 4. 2018 film starring Christian Bale and directed by Adam McKay. Brad. Brad says Price. Alden.
Christian Bale and Adam McKay. I thought it was like The Big Short or something, but that does not rhyme with ice. So I don't have an answer for you. I'll say lice. How's that?
Yeah, I thought about lice
Steven.
also.
I'm also just guessing at consonants here, so nice.
Audience says rice again. No one gets it because this is Vice.
Oh,
my god! Why didn't
Kill me!
I got that he was in The Big Short?
Yeah.
And like I couldn't shake that out of my mind. Like that's
Well, I
so
wonder what that
annoying.
movie was about.
Question 5. The golden variety of this food is genetically modified to enhance its beta carotene content. Brad. Brad says rice. Alden.
I'm also going with rice.
Steven.
Rice.
Audience says mice. But this is the time for rice.
No,
I thought about lice also again there. It's very delicious.
Lice. Gross.
Question 6. Procedure for creating a loop at the end of a rope by partially untwisting the strands and then interweaving them back into another section of the rope.
It's weird because racism doesn't rhyme with ice.
What?
Racism.
Brad.
Flice.
I think
Alden.
you spelled that wrong.
I'm sure I did.
Even for your made-up word. I'm gonna try splice.
Steven.
Yeah, splice.
Audience also has it. It is a splice.
Nice.
Specifically an
Put
eye
3 nooses on the
splice.
screen, dude.
An eye splice sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was the one forgotten. Remember, ice splice.
The Splice Girls.
With open club faces.
Yes.
Question 7. A short length of time.
That's a short one.
All right, Brad.
It's a Zeiss. Yeah, I'll be there in a Zeiss.
Alden.
You know how sometimes you say, I need a sec? What if you needed 2 secs? So it's a twice?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
That's the best logic I can come
That's
up
gotta
with.
be
for
it,
this
right?
Yeah, I didn't get mine fully written out, but I'm going to say a mill ice second.
Yeah.
A mill ice.
No, none of you have it, but the
darn.
audience does have it because this is a trice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I was so close.
Cheddar cheese.
Ugh.
I've never heard that.
Apparently, I'm seeing some of the audience answers, but not all of them. So we'll have to
Oh.
sort that out.
Okay.
But I'm
Is
the
Zach on
dictator
the
of
case?
trivia, so I will decide what answers I do and do not accept. So, question 8. British politician and current deputy leader of Reform UK.
God, I just hate the UK so much.
That doesn't rhyme with ice, though.
Right, yeah. But it seems like the correct answer.
Hate.
Let's see.
I'm just winging it. I have no idea who this guy is.
All right, Brad.
Yes.
Brad says
Oh,
Ivy
man.
Slice.
Uh,
Alden.
I have no idea. I'm going to say Weiss or Vice.
Steven.
I'm going back to Bryce.
Audience also says Bryce. But this is Richard Tice.
Oh, that's
What a fag.
that's annoying. That's
My
not
name's
even a real
Richard
name.
Tice. Yeah. Jesus.
That's not real.
He does have a
That's not a real
dashing head of
person.
hair, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
For dudes to pull on when they're backsideing them.
Never heard backside as a verb before.
All right. At the end of round 1, I've got Brad with 2, Alden, Steven, and the audience all tied with 5.
Neck and neck.
Gang, gang.
I got some ground to cover.
So round 2, losers. Question
We're all
1.
losers? Oh, I thought you were calling us losers.
Yeah.
Round 2,
Round 2, you
losers.
fucking losers.
What does
Round
that say
2,
about
losers.
my own I don't know, self-esteem that I assumed that was directed at me?
Get in, loser. We're going to round 2. Anyway, what Miami quarterback and noted lookalike to Sid from Ice Age threw a deep interception to Indiana's Jamari Sharp to seal his team's loss in the 2026 CFP National Championship?
This
Oh
is
my
so mean.
God, that's
Knowing lookalikes? Is this something that you came up with, or is this like widely accepted as
This is widely
He's a-
accepted.
that's his doppelganger? That's so mean.
All right, I'm going to show you my second answer first.
All right, Brad, go for it.
Carson Beck. And before I remembered what his name was, that wigger.
Alden,
I know this is a different round, but I'm still on the rhyme thing. I'm going with Pice, just to see if that's a name.
Steven,
Lambo Boy, Carson Beck.
doesn't look like the audience has anything yet, but it is Carson Beck.
Yeah, he's 31
He's on
years
ice.
old.
He's 31?
I mean, no, I mean, it's like he's been in college like 7 years.
Oh, okay, wow.
I mean, how long did Matt Stafford play for UGA? Wasn't he like upper 20s before he went pro?
I don't know. Some of them are
That
going
was
back.
before my time.
Yeah.
Question 2. What longtime Kentucky representative and senator ran for president in 1824, 1832, and 1844, but lost all 3 times? He was nicknamed the Great Compromiser for his role in negotiating various laws that probably delayed, but ultimately could not prevent, the outbreak of civil war. Brad. Running it back, I see. Alden,
Chuck Schumer.
Steven.
I said Ron Paul Sr. to the third power.
There you go.
Audience has it. It is Henry Clay.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
See, I just come here to just be humbled and reminded of how dumb I am, apparently.
I come here to chew gum and be retarded. I'm all out of fucking gum.
What about
I'm gonna say
regular
I'm all out
gum?
of retarded.
I have some regular gum. Yeah.
Question 3. The final 3 seconds of the men's basketball final at the Munich Olympics between the United States and the USSR were played 3 times due to a series of very controversial and probably biased officiating decisions. After eventually losing 51-50, the U.S. team members have refused ever since to accept their silver medals. In what year did this game take place? Brad,
Is it the one with Allen Iverson? I feel like it's not. 2008.
Alden,
1980?
Steven.
1946.
Audience has it again.
72?
It's 1972.
God, yeah, the low number of points means a lot of white guys on that court. So I should have known.
Because they were actually playing defense.
Right. Yeah. There's no 3-point line.
Question 4. The 2025 single Losers is a collaboration between what 2 country music adjacent rappers?
Oh God. It's that.
Country music adjacent rappers.
Now I do specialize in tractor rap, but I've never heard this one. That's what I call the genre, anyways.
I've also heard it called hip hop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brad,
Is it Jelly Roll and that Post Malone guy?
Alden,
I said Post Malone and I have no other guesses.
Steven,
I'm saying Colt Ford and Jelly Roll.
So Brad gets 2, everyone else, including the audience, gets 1. It is Post Malone and Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Jelly Roll?
He was like this fat guy. He has tattoos on his face, and then he lost a bunch of weight. He's in Ozempic, and now he looks even weirder. He needs to gain his weight back.
A lot of those Ozempic people, they look like bobbleheads. Am I the only one? Like, Ozempic turns you into a bobblehead.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't even know where the guy came from. I'm watching TV one day, and they're like, and the award for the country music album of the year or something is Jelly Roll. And I'm like, who? And then some like 300-pound dude with a face full of tattoos comes up. I'm like, this is the country music awards?
Country music adjacent.
Yeah,
Adjacent, yes.
I found him in 2020 because he was teaming up with Mercules and some other independent rappers that I was listening to. So, but I knew him from rap.
Yeah, I couldn't name any. I don't think I could name a song that's been created after 2003. Honestly.
Yeah.
Question 5. Paul Lawrie won the 1999 edition of What Major, hosted at Carnoustie Golf Links, after Jean Van de Velde blew a 3-stroke lead on the 18th hole of the final round. Starting the day 10 strokes behind, Lawrie's comeback remains the largest in the history of the PGA Tour.
How do you have stroke, hole, and comeback in this paragraph and it not be about gay sex? How is this a golf question?
Or a UK politician,
Yeah.
which is the same thing.
What's the question?
Yeah, what is the question?
Sorry, you were
Okay.
too busy being gay.
Yeah.
You didn't hear me reading the
My
question.
gaydar.
We
was
could do
still
two
up.
things at once, okay?
Yeah. Like this.
Brad,
Not Zane like that.
Is it Phil Mickelson?
I was
Alden.
going to say my joke of Mr. Nichols.
Alden,
Mr. Nichols.
Steven,
Who is a stand-in name for Mickelson. by the way.
Would that be the Masters?
But it's not even. See, I went with. I'm riffing off of Brad because I think the question was about more the event, and I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's the event.
Yeah.
It's the Phil Mickelson Open.
the question was in fact asking for an event. So props to you, Steven, for understanding the question.
I can't even
Unfortunately, it's not-
understand the question.
I was gonna say mine as just a recurring golf-related joke on this trivia event.
It unfortunately is not the Masters. It is the Open Championship, aka the British Open.
The real crime is that Phil Mickelson doesn't have a
It's the
fucking
Gaping
event named
Open.
after him.
Yeah. It's the master.
Oh, got it. Oh, he's killing it. The Masturbator? Is that what it is?
Yeah. I think
That'd be-
isn't
that'd
that
be an
a
interesting
golf
event.
event, the Masters Bader?
Yeah. I mean, that's one kind of event.
Yeah.
It's a off
It's a
season
solo event. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Question 6. What man was defeated so soundly in his presidential re-election campaign that he conceded at 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time before the polls on the West Coast had closed? NBC News had projected his defeat using exit polls over an hour before that. Brad,
Forgive my spelling. Buchanan.
Alden,
Carter?
Steven.
LBJ?
The audience says Biden, but maybe that's a
funny.
joke.
I think that is a joke.
The audience then says Bush Sr., but it is Jimmy Carter.
Hey.
Oh.
They made Jimmy Carter a white dude for Harris when he was 100 years old and didn't know who he was. They put a shirt on him, and they said he was excited to vote for Kamala, and they show his birthday party, and he looks like, he looks like he's trying to say kill me.
It's
But they're like, we're going to make your last thing be, we're going to bury you in a white dude for Harris shirt.
Yeah. Sounds about
What do you
right.
want to be buried in? Definitely my white dude.
Not that. I mean, God, yeah.
All right. At the end of round 2, we've got Brad with 6, Alden and Steven with 8, and the audience was 12.
Zach said Chase Oliver.
All right. Round 3, Groundhog Day. Question 1. The celebration of Groundhog Day derives from what Christian festival on February 2nd, 40 days after Christmas, which commemorates the presentation of Jesus at the temple? The audience has said Bill Murray. Bill Murray miss. Brad,
Lent.
Alden,
Valentine's Day.
Steven.
Feast of Atonement.
Audience also says Lent, but this is Candlemas.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a heathen.
yeah.
I've never even heard this term.
You guys put up your Candlemas tree this year?
Funny you
It's
should
just-
ask.
Yeah.
I put that up right after Halloween.
It's just a crispy Christmas tree that you took down for 1 week and then put back up. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna start giving my Christmas tree to people for Candlemas as a gift.
how thoughtful. Yeah.
No, you're supposed to burn your Christmas tree on Epiphany,
When
Is
is
that a real thing?
January 6th.
So that's the 12th.
Day
of Christmas.
6, you're supposed to burn it on Day
Yeah,
6.
in honor. Yeah, in honor of
Really?
yeah. Yeah, you have to storm the Capitol. You have to do it inside. The
Yeah,
books.
yeah, yeah.
No, bring
You have
your
to-
Christmas tree inside the Capitol.
Yeah.
You have to wrap the tree in a flag, bring it to the Capitol, and then burn it. Yeah.
Right.
Question 2. According to the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club, Punxsutawney Phil speaks what language? Phil uses the language to communicate his prediction to the club's president, who is the only human who can understand it.
That is the definition of an esoteric language.
I'm sure Nick knows this one.
Brad,
Mandarin.
Alden,
Whale.
Steven,
Punxsutawney.
I almost said that just to be an asshole.
Punxsutawney Phil speaks Groundhogese.
Oh, God.
That's a hard language to learn.
It's not on
Yeah.
Duolingo.
It's really tricky syntax.
You're right. Yeah, you can't have it on. Only one guy knows it. He has a lot of power. That one guy to speak to the ground.
It's on Uno lingo.
Question 3. Published in 1869, The Innocents Abroad is a travelogue documenting what author's experiences on a steamship traveling throughout the Mediterranean. Brad,
Anderson Cooper.
Alden,
Mark Twain, obviously.
Steven.
Jules Verne.
Audience
Oh, that
also
makes more
has
sense.
it. It is friend of the podcast, Mark Twain.
Oh, shit. I love when that works when I throw it out, and it is correct. Finding more and more obscure ways to reference Mark Twain in history.
Twain? You guys know Twain?
We're friends, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been on a few times.
Question 4. What man co-starred with Chris Tucker and Tom Wilkinson in the 1998 film Rush Hour?
Can't believe Grumpy's gone for this.
You know Grumpy loves this shit.
Mm-hmm. What if I said Mark Twain again?
Yeah. I think he would have been
Brad.
better in it. Jackie Chan.
Alden,
Jackie Chan.
Steven.
Jackie
I
Chan, baby.
love the back-to-back.
It
These
is
are-
our other friend of the
Yeah.
podcast, Jackie Chan.
For some reason, these are our go-to like joke answers when we don't know something. And one time I said Mark Twain, and it was though, and so never mind. It's a whole thing.
You keep going. Eventually, the clock is correct.
Or it was the time I said it before you even said the question. That's what it was.
You got
Yeah.
the answer
that's
correctly?
that was back
Yeah.
in the days when we didn't even have to be done reading the question before someone could answer it.
Yeah, we did like this weird call-out kind of thing, and
That was in
he
the
started
Wild
talking-
West
Yeah.
trivia. And Chris Tucker was on Epstein's plane. I don't know what that means. I just know he was on it.
I don't know what it means, but
He was doing
Alright.
comedy while they were getting abused.
I
He's
thought
like,
you
just
were
make them
saying
laugh.
cocaine.
They'll forget about it.
yeah.
What's the deal with all these kids?
Oh, no. Oh god.
All right. At the end of trivia, we've got Brad with 9, Steven with 11, Alden with 14, and the audience wins again with 18.
We couldn't have covered up the mutant like porcupine with that. No.
It gets worse. It
Oh
gets
my
worse.
God.
The collective knowledge, it shows how wise the crowd is. Wasn't it BG? Didn't he get a number of the answers? He's like on fire.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
So
not us.
Kanye, here's what Kanye said.
Oh, we're back on that again.
Yeah, let's just see what he said to see if it's funny or not. Because Kanye
Okay.
says stuff. The headline is his apology is not near enough, is what a Hollywood Reporter says. What do you guys think it's? Let's see what his fucking apology is here.
That's long. I think you said plenty. I haven't read it.
Right. So they do these articles and then they don't put the apology up front. They just say they interpret it for you, and then
Don't look into it yourself.
they don't. Yeah, they don't. They make it hard to like where did he apologize? Oh,
Like
lengthy
what?
email. In a lengthy email. Okay, so the Wall Street Journal reported on Monday that Yee has expanded on his statement in a lengthy email to Vanity Fair, where he attributed his anti-Semitic and hateful comments and his behavior to a 4-month manic episode of bipolar disorder and traumatic brain injury stemming from his 2002 car accident. That's interesting. That's their characterization of it.
Okay.
So he blamed
Like
a mental
DI.
illness and a brain injury for his anti-Semitism. What do you guys? All right, we'll start with you, Zane. What's your first thoughts on an apology from Ye blaming mental illness and a physical brain injury?
I mean, this is a pretty famous study where this was like all the way back in the 1800s. Some guy, I think it was a railroad worker, but something happened and like there was an explosion and a pipe went straight through his entire head, through his jaw, straight up through the top of his head. And it took out like a third of his brain, but he somehow like survived and was like pretty much fine. Like he was still able to like talk and like walk.
Yeah, he
and
just hated
all
the
the
Jews
skills.
afterwards.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
the one thing that did happen was his personality changed a lot
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
As you might expect would happen if you lost 1/3 of your brain. So actually, I think that it's quite plausible that that's what happened.
So, yeah, he's done a lot of things since 2002. He's won awards. I think he was not a billionaire before 2002. So if it injured his brain and made him anti-Semitic, it also made him very wealthy.
So what you're saying is we should seek out TBIs, all of us.
Right.
Well, and we've also seen the advent of Down syndrome Victoria's Secret models.
What are you talking about? I've never seen that.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. No, I've seen that. It's weird. It's very weird.
Just
you
saying
have,
it's
you have the
possible.
drag queen story hour people, or Downs Queen story hour, where it's like, it's a strange culture we live in right now. Isn't anti-Semitism, like, what is it? You know, like, what's the definition of it? What's the concrete examples? I don't see them really providing concrete examples. Just like with racism, Islamophobia, with all of that, they're always very general about it, and they keep it very flexible. Because if they were to make it concrete, then they couldn't make anything that. And so I hate this weaponized terminology that they use. Zach, I put his apology. I did finally find it. If you want to put it on screen, we can see what he actually said. It's my understanding that I was in the top 10 most listened to artists overall in the U.S. on Spotify in 2025. And last week and most days as well, West said in a new interview with Vanity Fair. This, for me, as evidenced by the letter, isn't about reviving my commerciality. This is because these remorseful feelings were so heavy on my heart and weighing on my spirit. I owe a huge apology once again for everything that I said that hurt the Jewish and black communities in particular. All of it went too far. I look at the wreckage of my episode and realize this isn't who I am. As a public figure, so many people follow and listen to my every word. It's important that they realize and understand what side of history that I want to stand on, and that is one of love and positivity. He declined to answer some of the magazine's questions about where his anti-Semitic sentiments may have originated and why he has now made amends. His new album, Bully, is said to release on Friday. There's your answer.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Well, look at the.
And he didn't even say anti-Semitism in there. Sorry.
Who's the congressman from Pennsylvania? You know, he had a stroke and he was a Democrat and got elected, and then he got better and now he's more conservative.
Oh, you're talking the guy? Fetterman. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Right.
you know, we do have examples of like, okay, you know, I was brain injured, so I was a different guy.
Right. He's also has an album releasing next week. Fetterman does.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that guy from the 1800s I was talking about, Phineas Gage, also has a new album coming out.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, medically, like that is probably like, you know, obviously a publicist crafted this whole excuse because like that is a valid medical like, you know, we have medical cases of, you know, people getting in bad car accidents and then like they wake up and they're speaking a different language all of a sudden. Yeah,
Right.
You know, there are cases of that, and you know, he wasn't really speaking a different language. But
it was Groundhog Eve.
I mean, it was clear though that he was having some episodes, just like we talked about. I mean, like he was walking around with a mask on and carrying a fishnet, talking about, you know, he's talking to Netanyahu all day.
Yeah, so I go back and forth on whether he's has some sort of thing going on. He's always. I went back and looked at the release of his albums, the dates, and what he was doing shortly before, and he never isn't doing something controversial and wild to call public attention to it. Just like this, to me, this feels more like he recognized the audience that he could appeal to when he made the song, the Heil Hitler song in that album a little while back. And I don't know what I mean, there's profitability that's not as obvious as like mainstream, but he's getting donations. He's making money off it. He's getting fans. And it feels like now that his album is coming out, his PR person, Ed Bernays always talks about you have to feel out the public. You have to read the tea leaves, find the public sentiment, and then adjust what your messaging is to get them to go along with whatever your next thing is. It feels like his PR guy was like, you're not going to make as much money from the Heil Hitler people as you are from everyone else who listen. I don't know what his audience is, but this seems like I need to make some money on this next album. Sorry to the Jews. Without saying it. He didn't actually say that, really.
I was gonna say, was that even there? Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't even. It's funny how they say he apologized for his anti-Semitism. He didn't say those words exactly.
It was more like, I'm sorry, I have a brain injury, and here's this album.
Right.
And you do the math,
Yeah.
Like,
And are you really gonna not buy an album from some brain damaged guy going through a mental health crisis? Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, his mental health crisis cost him $1 billion. You know, the Adidas deal and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. And
Look,
you know,
he said he was
lost his
sorry that
marriage.
he loved Hitler.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that I love Hitler is what he said.
yeah. He's the
I am-
victim here.
Apologize for my fondness of the Fuhrer.
I would love if his apology letter was just like, I'm sorry that the guy had some good points. Like,
Right. Maybe it's all sarcastic written. We don't know.
We don't know,
really don't.
yeah.
We don't know the tone of it. Maybe he's
Yeah.
wearing that mask with Alex Jones again. I don't know. These people apologize when it's beneficial for their profit or for their popularity to apologize. It's so hard to find sincerity in
I would
anything they
say-
do.
to play like devil's advocate a little bit, where like I do think you're right, and I do think that the timing of this is hard to. I wish it weren't attached to and my album drops on Monday.
Right. Yeah.
That's
The very,
ridiculous. But in general, I tend to like to at least like leave room for people to make apologies and to grow as people and to not. I'm not a big cancel culture guy. Like I don't want to like create a world where you're like, you fucked up once and you're like, you're out of here, like just for forever.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, I don't think he should be canceled either. I just think that I think that he
you're
recognized
totally
an
right.
audience that he could appeal
Yeah.
to, and now he's trying to go to a different audience that he probably perceives as more profitable based on whatever metrics he's
I
got.
think you're totally right with the coincidence or not coincidence of the timing of it, but
Yeah.
There you go.
Alden,
So now,
you have a 3 strikes policy for loving Hitler.
yeah.
so now if he
You
can do
get
a
3.
feature, if he can just get a feature with Tom McDonald and Ben Shapiro.
That would be great if he
Yeah.
sat down with Ben Shapiro.
That'd
No,
be
like in a
interesting.
Ben Shapiro's in a rap song with Tom McDonald.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
He's
There you
So
go.
that-
Ben Shapiro should go somewhere and fold up on himself and fillet himself. Is what he should.
Random fillet the verb. Random question that came to mind as we were talking about this. How many Black Jewish people are there in the world? Just a question. We don't need to answer it, but just, that was just what was on my mind. That's the important things that my mind.
there's a violent protester movement called the Black Israelites. actually.
Outside Murder Crow
Really?
on Ponce.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
they-
zero.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but a friend of mine told me about it. He lives across the street, and I'm eager to go over there and check out the protest. I don't know about it, but I do know Kanye had expressed some of those views of the Black Israelites. And I was outside of one of Trump's rallies at Georgia State during 2024. I was trying to go to the Kamala rallies, although they kept secret where she was going to be and when. The AJC would vaguely tell you she's going to be here because Greg Bluestein is on the bus, so he can't reveal it. So I went to a few of those, and there was like nobody there. But I would go to the Trumps also, and I had long hair. Zach was with me. I think at this one, he was with me at this one, and they thought I was a liberal at first because my hair was a little bit longer. And I'm just here talking to people, and they hated Kamala. They were Black Israelites, and they're like, she's a fucking Indian, fuck that bitch, and they were so aggressive against her. And they're pretty intense.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know how much of the culture, anything about the culture, really. I was just like, my mind was like, how many people just fall into both of these camps?
I think it's 7.
7.
I've met 7 or 8. So
That makes sense.
yeah. Did you guys see, moving on, about Steak and Shake embracing Bitcoin
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and beef tallow, which we like.
and beef tallow? They're playing all the hits over
All
there,
the
and I even
bees.
found myself ordering Steak and Shake recently because of the beef tallow.
Yeah,
I
the
like
shoestring
some
fries
spicy.
are great, man.
Yeah, they make good chili too. Wendy's chili sucks.
So chili, my favorite chili, surprisingly, Firehouse Grill makes good chili. Not Firehouse Grill. What the fuck is that? Firehouse Subs.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I combined 2 places and I had them make the perfect chili.
Yeah.
It's Firehouse Subs. But the Steak and Shake thing is so I see this as like good branding and good marketing. They're going to add $5 million in Bitcoin to the strategic reserve. Steak and Shake has added $5 million, and it continues funneling all its proceeds from Bitcoin payments directly into that fund. And from their post on the 27th, they said our self-sustaining system improving food quality that grows same store sales, then grows the SBR, the Bitcoin Reserve, is transforming the chain via financial technology. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's going to appeal to a certain audience, and I say why not if you're a company.
Mm-hmm.
What's the harm in doing that, really?
Also, you got to work there for 2 years to get it, so they're not going to have to pay anyone anyway. So
You have to work there for 2 years
Yeah, that's
to
what it
benefit
says.
from this?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the tweet there. Oh, I see now. Employees will be able to collect their Bitcoin pay after 2-year vesting period. So they have a high
won't need to-
turnover.
Yeah.
Very tricky.
Yeah. 2 years is a long time when you work at Steak and Shake.
But maybe you go there. I might go apply after the show.
There you go. Yeah.
See if I can stick it out. What? So
Stake it out.
yeah, stake it out. Stake it out. Yeah.
Shake
What do you
things up
guys-
a little bit.
Well, how do you guys tell people who are not like? How do you explain Bitcoin to people? I had somebody ask me the other day. They're like, I don't understand Bitcoin all that much, and my best explanation was, I went to the Bitcoin conference, and never before in my life had I seen so many nerds with Lamborghinis and hot Asian girlfriends. So something must be there.
Yeah, this is not one for me to answer, so I'll let either Steven or Zane.
I mean, so you look at all the key things of what you want in money, right? So decentralized, scarcity's locked in. It's immutable. So there's lines of code that are unique that can't be replicated. There's only going to be so many of them. Scarcity's baked in.
A dead white guy printed on it somewhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's stable. It's quick to transact. I mean, all the key things that you would want for a currency, Bitcoin has. And then, all the people that would come at you with like boomer level arguments like, well, what happens if the power goes out? Okay, well,
the
cool.
power would have to go everywhere all at once. Like, we're fucked anyway. Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, if the power goes out everywhere, good luck spending your U.S. dollars.
I'm taking pennies to the strip club when the power goes out.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, right. I like it. You're not getting a meal at Steak and Shake when the power's out. Nothing
we're
works.
going to be on a barter system / anarchy anyway. Like,
Yeah, and the enthusiasm, it's a buy-in, and that's what the fiat system is. It's buy-in. It's just paper, but everybody agrees that it's worth something, and
it's backed by nothing now. Like,
right, and so that's Bitcoin feels similar. It is confusing to me when I was at the conference and I was asking various people to explain it to me to make it as simple as possible. And it was just like, well, Bitcoin, I was like, what is Bitcoin mining? And they're like, well, what it is you mine for Bitcoin. And then the Bitcoin, once you find it, it exists. And I was like, that's interesting. It doesn't exist until I find it.
People use the words that they're trying to define in the definition.
Yeah. It's
mine it. Yeah.
But if people believe in something and enough of them do, and they're enthusiastic about it, it will continue to exist for a period of time. Anyway, and I found it interesting that I didn't know at the time that it offended Bitcoin people, like true, like all-in Bitcoiners, to refer to it as crypto interchangeably.
Yeah, because crypto is sort of like
it's shit. It's shit. So
coins.
that's shit coins. They're legit, and they don't want to be associated with that. Because I interviewed a few people, and then I went back. I was watching them, and I was like, this guy got real weird when I said Bitcoin crypto, and then I saw Trump do the same thing in his speech there, and I saw people online talking about. I was like, oh, they don't want anything. They don't want to be called crypto. That's like being called a lunatic. And they have a differentiation between that, and I do agree that it is very different. And I own Bitcoin, and I would say the best lesson I've learned is from you guys, talking to you guys and others about it, and I didn't follow the advice at first. It's if you have it, put it on hard storage, because you'll lose it on a platform. I did.
You did? Oh,
Voyager, yeah. We got like a fraction of it, but
see, they tried to drop a little clue that was in the name. They're gonna like abscond with your money off to the high seas.
It's terrible, man, because you could still see all the crypto you had while they were in court, and you could see how high it went up during this time period. and how like it went up
You
astronomically.
couldn't pull it out while they were in court or something.
And you can't do anything about it because it's
Okay.
gone. Like, so you're just, the litigation was to give you like 3%.
3.
And yeah, it's crazy. So put it on hard storage if you got it. I do think it's worth investing in it personally.
Yeah. Don't put it on flaccid storage like you had.
Yeah, I'm putting on limp storage.
Yeah.
No, that's shit. That's cool though. It is interesting to see like Bitcoin machines and gas stations more and more. And I know in California, they're some of my friends see them all the time. I see them here every now and then. I forget sometimes that I have, oh shit, I'm out of money. Oh wait, I got money I can use in Bitcoin, which we're kind of conditioned, from my experiences, to save it, not spend it. Are you guys like that, or do you guys use it as currency?
I don't use it yet. I just stash it because I don't have a lot of it. So
Right.
I just like whatever I get,
I've spent Litecoin before. I tend to hold my Bitcoin and I spend Litecoin. So, and also, full disclosure, I bought like 100 Litecoin when they were $10 a piece. I haven't burned through all of them yet. It's way down right now, but it's hanging out at like $80.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that'll get you a pizza and a pitcher of beer at Mellow Mushroom.
Right. Yeah. One trip to the grocery store with that. I mean, good God. It's like an entry fee now going on trips. Like, the economy's doing great. What do you mean affordability? Fuck that. It's just like, okay, dude. So, Zach, you had some videos, by the way. I did. Hold on. I didn't hear your awesome answer to the dumbass boomer question about the power going out, is what Gravyonomics says. What is that a reference to?
When I was, what are you going to do when the power goes out with Bitcoin? How are you going to go spend that? Well, most places today, you're not going to go spend real money.
Oh, okay.
When the power goes out.
How about
I've been in this recently, even when the sun's up and they couldn't calculate the taxes to be able to finalize a sale. I was even willing to like overpay for something. I was like, hey, just here, just keep the change.
Yeah.
I need this.
Right. Is that a boomer question? The power going out?
I said it's usually the boomer type crowd.
Okay. Right.
That's their level of pushback of why Bitcoin's not going to be feasible as an actual currency.
Yeah.
I went to places, this was in Washington State, but where when COVID was like, the hot new thing. And there were places that wouldn't let me pay with cash. Like they were like, no, we can't take your physical dirty money. Yeah. Like, even though like I picked up an item, I set it on the counter. They then touched it, picked it up and went boop, and then put it in a bag. And like, so we've already had a thing that we've both touched. And then, but money is just, you can't do that. Like, you can't do the thing that's been sitting in my wallet for days that I haven't touched recently, but you can do the thing I just sneezed on, So I don't know if this answers any questions, but
yeah, I mean, I think the downfall, like the downside of Bitcoin, is there's no cocaine residue on it. Like,
yeah. How do you roll up Bitcoin?
Or how do you shove a Bitcoin in a stripper's thong? You can't do it.
How do you?
They have to have QR codes on their ass. That's what they have to do.
How do you shoot Bitcoin up a stripper's ass?
We'll figure it out though. That's for sure. There's a story about in China how there's traffic robots that are. They're traffic robots. They're women, and they look like Asian sex dolls. And I'm going, the sex dolls got a second job over there in Asia. They said, get your sex dolls out of the house, and they're going to be pulling. And the guy's like, I bought it to bang it, and it's working all the time, pulling Waymos over. There's not even humans involved.
This is like when people are like pitching the idea of like your private car, you should like basically not own a private car or like rent it out during the day to let people Uber your car. It's like, hey, like I only need my sex doll at night, so during the day it can do this, and like it's
bring home the bread, baby. Yeah, totally. Have you guys seen the Waymos around Atlanta?
Mm-mm.
They're everywhere. In where I am right now, it's like downtown. It's near the Capitol. Every time I come down here, I see 3 or 4 Waymos just all day.
I don't know anything.
Nobody in there.
It's wild. Ringled, so ain't none of that here.
Yeah. Now, who do you yell at if it cuts you off? Like, do you scream at the person in the back seat, or?
Well, I mean, even scarier. I've seen the Tesla drivers on autopilot just taking a nap.
Oh God,
dude, that's crazy.
right?
It's going to be rolling brothels is what they're eventually going to be.
Right.
I got a couple videos up to react to.
Once the dolls are done with their traffic duties, they'll be right there to be picked up.
That's right.
The same corners. It's efficient.
All right, we got a
Going
video.
on here, yeah.
God, how did a dog do that? That would hurt.
It whipped its nuggets.
The tail whipped its nuggets there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Light
yeah.
and feed.
Dogs and cats, they aren't really conscious of where your balls are.
I would hope not.
Yeah, that would be if they did it on purpose, it'd be a targeted attack. And a video like that it's something men can kind of unite over, because women will be like, "Oh, what happened? You're fine. Well, you don't have balls, bitch. Okay, you don't know what it feels like.
You don't understand.
Getting
Now
punched in the
you're-
coochie doesn't feel the same."
I don't know. To be fair, I don't know what that feels like, but ovaries are on the
Yeah,
inside.
that's
Brad
true.
would
Maybe
know.
Maybe it's they don't ever react the same way though. It's like America's Funniest Home Videos. It's just people getting kicked in the balls by random accidents all the time.
It's like, ow, my balls.
Yeah.
What did trans men do?
This is like, oh my god,
Oh my god!
why?
This kid gets hit in the balls by an animal and he crawls in a sink.
It's just the
Same kid.
This family's just letting him risk his life. This like toddlers crawling up it could be a garbage disposal, right? Is that?
Just
Oh, no,
laughing and like he's just.
I do that with mine. Yeah, there's some of that is like, oh no, hold on, let this play out. What's gonna happen?
Let's just see what happens here. Yeah.
Yeah.
This could go viral. We don't know.
Place buying stuff. I want someone to bring kiwis to my house. I make a prediction market about whether someone will deliver 4 kiwis to my doorstep and load $15 into no. A guy with an e-bike sees it and picks up some kiwis. Before dropping them off on my doorstep, he bets yes. Drops them off, the market resolves to yes, and he gets $15. Rest in peace. Amazon, DoorDash, Uber Eats, etc.
Prediction markets will replace relationships. I have a crush on your girlfriend. I make a prediction market about whether she will leave you for me and load 15 to no. She sees this and drives over to my place. Before texting me she's here, she bets yes. She comes inside. The market resolves to yes, and she gets $15. Rest in peace, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Riot, bars, restaurants, etc.
That's pretty great.
That's where those prediction markets are. It's individuals who can determine the outcome of something. You just got to know those individuals.
This is like when they were betting on the different colored dildos that were going to land on the court.
And I told on the show, I was like, look, I'll get a purple dildo on that floor if we can get that on the Atlanta Dream. I don't care if I get arrested. If there's a bet on there and I'll put all my money on it and that dildo will fucking hit the floor. I'll stick it to the backboard if that's like a specialty bet. Whatever.
Yeah. Stick it to the board.
Yep. I wanted to make a mobile game where you various levels of tossing dildos. You got to hit the midcourt, you got to hit the backboard, maybe you can knock the referee out, and there's obstacles to it. And you can do it everywhere. You can do it at football games, you can do it in traffic, and I have yet to find a platform that will let me make the item that's thrown in the game a dildo. They're like, why don't we make it a ball? I'm like, no, it has to be a dildo.
Is this
Because
a
that's
real
the point.
pursuit that you had?
Yes, I've been trying to get this made. And I've talked to, I have a friend who like develops games out in Silicon Valley, and I tried on these various apps, and they're like, none of the apps will let you on. I'm like, dude, there's literally an OnlyFans simulator game on PlayStation 5, okay? And I can't make a dildo
really?
tossing game. Yeah, there is. I don't play it, but I'm trying to buy it for my friends, though, to find out how it works.
Oh my god! I'm glad I brought this up. I didn't realize this was going to open up a whole other.
So go look up on if you have PlayStation, just look up like simulator games, and you'll see the list of the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life.
I've never tried this.
They'll be like $5. There's one of them called.
Well, they can't be good if they're $5.
Yeah, they're all shit games. That's why I was like, oh, I can make a shit game, and it'll be fun
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you toss dildos at people. whatever. Who doesn't like doing that? And there's one called it's like it's a beach game, and shit, the title's slipping my mind, but it's like a storybook game where this guy graduates. Oh, it's called Freezer Pops. That's what it is. He's like 22 years old. He graduates college and he goes and opens up a Freezer Pop stand on the beach. And the whole story is about him meeting all these pops, these old guys who are gay, and it's about gay sex. And that's the game, Freezer Pops. It's a coming of age, lots of coming involved, beach game. For like $5.99.
Coming of the ages.
Yeah, I buy it from. You can buy games for your friends. I buy those games for my friends all the time. Like, I got you Freezer Pops. I think you'll be the best at it.
Gift it to them on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one called Lemon Party. Check this one out.
Right. Yeah.
Here's my lemon.
That's a deep cut right there.
Yeah.
Yo!
That was short.
What did it say on screen?
She texted me at 2 a.m. saying, "Wish you were here."
Oh, and he was really excited about it.
Well, and then he walks in the door.
Yeah.
Wish you were here, and then actually puts that to the test. Is then here and freaks someone out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he showed up then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, he had a warrant.
You be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Gravy Nautic says, "Yeah, I'm a libertarian, but we need to start pouring trillions into AI sex dolls." I don't think anybody had that position. I don't recall. I don't recall us advocating for that.
No.
All right, so I think we can wrap it up now. I appreciate you guys letting me guest host, and I know that I definitely take it down a few notches with my blue humor, but I do enjoy talking to you guys and getting y'all's perspective. I think you guys are fun and super smart. And appreciate the chats. Zach or Zane, excuse me, do you want to have any closing words?
No.
I knew it. I knew he was going to just say no.
Steven?
I do, actually. I just want to say that, it's easy to turn on the TV, listen to the radio, even shows like this where we're just covering all the chaos, and it's easy to think that, society's falling apart. We're on the verge of a civil war. But at that point, that if you feel like you are one of the principled ones, you feel like you're the only one in your circle with your head on straight, it is then your civic duty to have kids and make more people like you.
All right.
What are you actually doing about it? Right.
Right.
More people like you need to exist if you're the only sane one.
Maybe the question is, who are you doing about it?
That's how they outnumber you because they're not worried about, they're just cranking out babies all the time.
Yeah,
so it's,
Asian sex doll is the answer for too many people.
There you go.
That also reminds me, do your civic duty and go to voteplacie.com so I can improve my terrible SEO on my campaign website.
Yeah.
What is it? Vote Placie?
Voteplacie.com.
Okay, Placey.
It's literally on my headline.
I can't see the
VOTEPLACIE.com and help me become Fulton County's next soil and water conservation district supervisor.
All right, yeah, I'll do that for sure. Alden?
Oh no, I mean I had a chicken died today. Actually, technically it would have been last night, but
I'm sorry.
So, rest in peace, Opal.
Yeah, how old was it?
Oh, who knows? I inherited this chicken when we bought the house. I have no idea.
Yeah.
A year. Well, no, it was at least 2 years. So I got been here 2 years.
Yeah.
The chicken came with the house. Talk about a squatter.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So a turkey took a shit on my car.
A turkey?
Yeah, a giant ass turkey.
Interesting.
Went to the bathroom in my car. I went outside a couple weeks ago. It was right after Thanksgiving, and there's a turkey standing next to my car, and it was a big ass turkey. I live in Ackworth, so I see turkeys just walking around like gang members all the time. And this one was looking at my car, and I took a picture of it and I put it on Nextdoor, and everybody was really unhelpful, but they all had a sarcastic comment. They said, "Go right up to him. She'll be really nice to you. Thank you. I'm just trying to see if it's anybody's fucking turkey." And then I went outside. And I had to go somewhere, get in my car. I'm driving, and I look on the hood. And I'm like, "What? That's not regular bird excrement. That's bigger. Did that turkey shit on my hood?" And then
get off quick.
and then
the paint.
the place I rent at has a ring cam, and I know ring cams are very invasive, but I went back and I looked at the thing because it signals when something walks in front.
Or shits.
And I saw the turkey stand on top of my hood and use the bathroom and then get off and kind of peck my car a little bit. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do to you? I ate ham on Thanksgiving.
Nice. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Marking its territory.
I guess.
It likes you.
Maybe it was flirting. All right, guys. I could ramble on forever. I appreciate you guys engaging with me and talking. Thanks for hanging out in the chats, and we will talk to y'all next time on Liberty Libations. Have a fantastic rest of y'all's evening.
Join the crew.